Welcome back to the Steve Thomas Show, and tonight we have some breaking news, very, very sad news. Y'all go ahead and check it out.
Why is President Biden saying that his uncle Bozie was eaten by cannibals?
So, I answered this question yesterday. I believe I've seen some clips on your network about me answering this question. I don't have much to say beyond what I said to some of your colleagues. Look, I was there. I think you traveled with us too to Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if you were there at the memorial in Scranton. The president had a emotional and I think a symbolic moment. He had an opportunity as president to honor his uncle's service in uniform. He had an opportunity to be there as president to speak to the bravery of his uncle, and not just his uncle, but many U.S. service members that put their lives on the line on behalf of this country. So his uncle, who lost his life when the military aircraft he was on crashed in the Pacific after taking off near New Guinea. The president highlighted his uncle's story as he made the case for honoring our sacred commitment to equip those we send to war and take care of them and their families when they come home. And as he iterated, the last thing American veterans are, or the last thing Americans should be called, are suckers and losers. And that is, those types of words should not come from a commander-in-chief, as we have in the past. And we should actually be lifting up our American veterans and honoring them. And that's what you saw from this president.
And I agree, Second Lieutenant Ambrose J. Finnegan was a war hero. But the Pentagon says, for unknown reasons, the plane was forced to ditch in the ocean. Both engines failed at low altitude. Why is President Biden saying he was shot down? There's no evidence of that. And why is he saying that his uncle was eaten by cannibals? That is a bad way to go.
He lost his life. It's not, look, I'm not, we should not make jokes about this.
It's not.
Wait.
President Biden said that his uncle was eaten by cannibals.
I mean, your last line, it's for a laugh. It's for a funny statement. And he takes this very seriously. His uncle, who served and protected this country, lost his life serving. And that should matter. You have a president that lifts up our U.S. troops, our American veterans, every day, who thinks about them, who actually thinks they're all heroes, and they are. And you have a former president who disrespects that, who doesn't honor that. Said it as president, suckers or losers. That's what he said.
Where did the cannibalism come from?
I think you're missing the point. The point is you have a president that lifts up American veterans, who lifts up our U.S. service members. And that's what matters. He understands how critical and how important it is to be commander-in-chief. I'm going to move on. Go ahead.
Very sad. I've never known anyone to go out like that. I especially didn't expect that from the Biden family. It's very sad. I've never known anyone to go out like that. I probably would have been easier on the guy if I'd have known, But, my condolences for sure. And, I hope, Mr. Biden, I hope you find a way to heal from such a tragic loss. Not in the fact that he died, but in the fact that he went out like that. My heart breaks for you, and I just want you to know that. We need to move on to the next story now. Out of Chicago.
Sean and Gaynor, good morning. It's been an incredibly somber morning for the family of a 30-year-old Chicago Police Department officer shot and killed, and his fellow officers here on the Chicago Police Department. We are told that he was returning home from a tour of duty this morning when he lost his life. He would have turned 31 in just 2 days. Now, within the last 15 minutes, a procession carrying the body of that officer began to make its way over to the ME's office, an emotional moment for all involved.
8th District and citywide. An officer that came in at 3135 West 56th Street, 3135 West 56th Street. An officer is shot over there as was following a shot spotter. And shot spotter came in at 5501 South Kedzie.
That was police dispatch audio early this morning. According to the Chicago Police Department, the officer was shot multiple times as he got home from work. Police responded to the scene around 3. CPD says Area 1 detectives are working right now to determine what led up to this. While they're not calling it a carjacking at this moment, CPD says the officer's vehicle is missing. They are working to determine whether his service weapon was also taken or recovered at the scene. Although he was wearing something that covered it, CPD says the officer was in uniform when he was killed. Superintendent Larry Snelling says the circumstances of what led up to this are currently under investigation, and the department is sifting through a lot of evidence at this very moment.
The great city of Chicago. Such a beautiful place. I thought about moving there. I don't have much to say about that. That is sad. And I hope they catch the guy. You know, that's why, you know, in certain instances, I do believe in the death penalty. Because things like that, and, you know, multiple other heinous crimes need to be put to an end, you know, ultimately. Let's move on.
I, on the floor of the Senate, read a list of a dozen people in the last 4 months publicized murders, rapes, a 2-year-old caught in the crossfire, crimes committed by people in this country illegally. That had it not been for your reversing of the Trump policies, for your open border policy, those crimes would have been committed. I've got another simple question. Do you ever, when you go to bed at night, do you have any regrets? Do you have any remorse for your complicity,
Senator,
in these crimes? I mean, your open border policy has aided and abetted the murder of Americans, the rape of Americans. There are people have lost their loved ones because of this catastrophe, this open border policy. Do you have any remorse? Do you have any regrets?
Senator, 2 points. One, very importantly, all of our hearts break for the victims of these heinous crimes and their loved ones. Secondly, the criminals who committed those crimes are responsible for their criminal conduct.
They wouldn't have been into this country had you not allowed them in through your open border. Do you ever call up the families of the crime victims? Do you ever talk to Laken Riley's family?
Senator, as I stated previously, all of our hearts break for the loved ones of those who have been lost at the hands of criminal conduct.
Good. Okay, so your heart is broken. Do you have regrets? Do you admit your culpability here? Do you admit that your actions have resulted in the deaths and the murders and the assaults of thousands of Americans? I've got the CBP statistics here. Assault and battery up 5.7 times over the last few years what it was in 2020. Homicide up 17 times. Again, these are from keep people in this country illegally. Sexual offenses up 2.5 times. Again, that's the direct result of your actions, of President Biden's actions. Quite honestly, of actions of Democrats in the Senate who refused to vote to complete the wall, which would have helped. It's not the full.
Mayorkas, Secretary Mayorkas, I don't believe you answered the question or took any ounce of responsibility for what's been taking place. This is not going over very well, but I don't even know why they're doing all this in the first place. It's, I guess, just to make an ass of him or something. I mean, we ultimately know that they're going to be dismissing, I think they already did, dismissing his charges. So, what's the point? To show America that he's an ass, he's done a terrible job, and we're going to move on. And he's going to keep doing what he's doing because he kept his job. And, you know, if anybody was going to get rid of him, it was going to be the Senate. But if they ain't doing it, then nobody's doing it. Moving on.
In Memphis, Tennessee, where a block party believed to be operating without a permit in Memphis on Saturday night broke out into a shooting with multiple people shot. In fact, 16 shot in total. That mass shooting happened at an inner city neighborhood early on Saturday night. A block party believed to be up to about 300 people broke out into a shooting. Memphis police saying when they arrived on scene, they found 2 dead and 5 shot, and later learned that multiple shooting victims were taken in private vehicles to hospitals. Police saying at least 16 people in all were shot, and an investigation is underway. In the meantime, Memphis's interim police chief didn't give any details yet on what may have caused the shooting at the party, but they have some partial information to go on to try to find potential suspects.
So at 7:19 p.m., MPD officers responded to the 2400 block of Carnes Avenue regarding a shooting. Officers located 5 victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds on the scene, 3 of whom were transported to area hospitals in critical condition, and 2 males were pronounced deceased on the scene. Officers were notified that 11 additional gunshot victims arrived by private vehicle at area hospitals as well, for a total of 16 victims. This was a block party in the Orange Mound Park that was occurring, as far as we know, without a permit. There were approximately 200 to 300 people in attendance at this event. In light of recent events, we stand together to denounce these senseless acts of violence in our community. We are working tirelessly tonight to identify the individuals who were involved in this shooting. We believe there are at least 2 individuals that fired weapons during this incident.
All right, so you're listening in here to the interim police chief. We do have an update, though, that despite what we had initially heard from police in this news conference, they did provide an update this morning saying that there were only 8 victims, 2 of those being deceased.
So in Memphis, they had this block party. They're like, oh, as far as we know, there was no permit. There ain't no damn permit. They ain't getting no permit to have a block party in Memphis. I don't think they really give a fuck, to be honest with you. I think that if they're going to have a party, they're going to have a party. I mean, it is what it is. And I think that's the same. Is that not the same police chief that got rid of that strike force gang, whatever they were called, that specialized unit? This probably would not have happened if they would still have that specialized unit that was undercover, obviously, or at least rolling in unmarked vehicles, probably wearing like all black with the tech vests and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, they were catching stuff like this, and I think that's the police chief that canceled them or whatever. You know, the city spoke out, you know, all the idiots basically that wanted that specialized unit gone. That was during the defund the police, the whole defund the police thing, whatever. But a party, everybody's supposed to be like celebrating. I don't know what they were celebrating. It's we're like almost at the end of April. I don't know what they're celebrating, but sounds like they were just having a party and supposed to be having a good time, and a whole bunch of people end up shot in Memphis. What do you know? anyway, maybe that police chief will reconsider her actions and perhaps even create a new specialized unit under the radar until it gets found out, and then they end up moving her right on out anyway. But let's move on to our next story.
Also in that same package of bills, the House voted in favor of a bill that puts TikTok closer than ever to being banned in the U.S. According to the bill, TikTok's China-based parent company, ByteDance, now has 9 months to sell the platform or face a nationwide ban. This comes after worries expressed that the app poses a national security threat and can be used to spread misinformation and manipulate elections. TikTok has argued the ban violates its users' First Amendment rights and harms small businesses that use the app for marketing.
Guys, I'm a little bit sad about that, if they ban TikTok, because, you know, just kidding. I don't use TikTok. I would never use that for anything. It supports China, and I don't support China except some of my tools, and I think my gym was actually some outsourced work. My home gym was outsourced work, I think, from China. But my Harley Davidson and my John Deere, there might be some shit. Now that I'm looking around here, maybe I do support China, but I don't support TikTok. Fuck you, TikTok. I will not be on TikTok. I love YouTube, American YouTube. But all of you that are out of the country, feel free to, you know, watch my stuff and subscribe and everything too. But anyway, I hope they do get rid of TikTok, because to be honest with you, some people in my house are like really into TikTok, and it makes it really hard to have like normal family conversations and important discussions, I guess. And so anyway, I hope that goes through. Let's move on. All kinds of heartbreaks tonight, guys. I'm just so sorry to bring you this kind of news. My heart's breaking right now. But I just want you guys to go out on this note right here. Please subscribe. We need subscribers. We have no fucking subscribers. Why? Let me know in the comments below why we have no fucking subscribers. Please. Because I would like to know. So, help me out with that. Just leave a quick comment like, why are you not subscribing but you're watching my stuff? I'm seeing the analytics. People are coming back to watch, but they're still not subscribing. Like, you want to find me really easily? Just subscribe below. It's not that hard. Please. Or else I'm going to keep on making videos and just get other subscribers. And fuck you. So, that's the way I feel about that. Anyway, till next time. America. You ain't American unless you subscribe. And comment and like and share and all those types of things. You're not American unless you do every one of them. I love y'all. See you on the next one. Check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Donald Trump, your favorite president of all time, hopefully.